I'm Malcolm Van Delst, and this is an excerpt from Do the Wrong Thing, a book series or extra long novel that opens with a woman trying to kill herself. She says, "I don't know why I tried to do this," and by way of explanation tells her life story. We are in book 2. Previously on Do the Wrong Thing, Ava started seeing Philip's friend Ron, who introduced her to political, subversive music and art. And at the end of her school year, Ava froze, incapable of writing her usual give the professor what they want to hear essay. I'm going to read the thing right through to the end of the book tonight. It's about 1,800 words because we have the time. And I'm going to start with the revision of the section where she writes the essay on Milton. I turned my final essay in 3 weeks late because for the first time in my school career, I'm not giving the teacher what they want. I have a theory about women filling schools, but afterwards in industry, academics, art, film, blah, blah, blah. It's men, men, and men. Women, like myself, are trained from an early age to acquiesce and keep the peace, soothe. We go to school, tell the teachers what they want to hear, and get amazing grades. We don't fight in parking lots, that time-honored masculine tradition for establishing dominance and cementing friendships. We don't challenge. We don't make statements unless it's, "Oh, I see what you mean, Mr. or Mrs. Teacher," while we flutter our eyelashes consciously or subconsciously and gaze adoringly. Don't think women don't flutter eyelashes at other women. We do it to everyone. A's are easy when you amplify your teacher's point of view and stroke their ego, but what does it add to the conversation? Women aren't excluded from positions of power entirely because of discrimination. We're excluded because we don't fight. At the beginning of studies in 17th century literature, I was jumping out of my skin at the thought of Paradise Lost. I couldn't wait to study this literally epic poem. Then, not equal as their sex not equal seemed, for contemplation he and valor formed, for softness she and sweet attractive grace. He for God only, she for God in him. His fair large front and eye sublime declared absolute rule, and high hyacinth locks round from his parted forelock manly hung, clustering, but not beneath his shoulders broad. She as a veil down to the slender waist her unadorned gold tresses wore, disheveled, but in wanton ringlets waved, as the vine curls her tendril, which implied subjection, but required with gentle sway. And by her yielded, by him best received, yielded with coy submission. What the fuck? Professor Highcroft can't understand why I'm angry. That was the time, he says. Everyone viewed women and men like that. Don't take it personally, but I do. I've been betrayed by all of literature and higher learning. I request an extension. I have to move. I do have to move, but I could have written the essay beforehand. Paralyzed, afraid Professor Highcroft will fail me for saying what I think. On the other hand, this is a massive conspiracy against women. I rejected Highcroft's advances too. Even if he gives me a poor but passing mark on this paper, I'll bomb the exam as usual, and then I'll fail the course. I have a lot more to lose than my peers. My family won't support me, and as much as I say I want to be like Bukowski or Dylan Thomas, do I really want to be a howling alcoholic, even if my ejaculations are spectacular? Maybe quieter, differently powerful alchemy, like a career and self-support without dependence on a husband and family, is a more vital choice. And for that, I'll need my diploma, even if it's tainted. The 70s faux wood panels bubble and detach in places, and who in their right mind puts shag carpet, rusty orange along the edges and tramp down and brown in the middle in an apartment building's hallway? The suite's wood grained door is made from that thin, hollow board stuff, but it has a deadbolt. Inside, the space is sunny, enlarged via a loft bed constructed of 2x4s and plywood. The walls papered in tearing but tolerable cream-colored small flowers. The hardwood flooring painted burgundy. A window overlooks John Street. Through a double door frame, doors long gone. The kitchen big enough for a table and chairs, also bright via windows, one onto John Street and another onto the alley. Pale blue flowers on the walls and discoloring light gray linoleum on the floor. A 60s gas stove and a 70s yellowing fridge. Past the kitchen, a closet big enough to hold a mattress. It could be a second bedroom with the same wallpaper as the living room. More burgundy painted hardwood, though. In here, it's half covered with broken linoleum, older than the stuff in the kitchen, ostentatiously flowered in cream, green, and burgundy. The bathroom, a pink toilet with a white clawfoot tub, Faucet's a bit rusty. I take it. It's easy to move. One truckload and I'm in. Ron helps. My boss at Ports, a cafe in an unhip area of the city, thinks he and his establishment are something special. Well, I like Ports. I don't have the same opinion of it or him that he does. I mean, his songwriter nights are good, even if the audience buys almost nothing. The Wednesdays are packed, and working them means I get paid to attend. There's a music studio around the corner from Ports where, according to Ron, the lead singer from Roxy Music is recording a solo album. I guess that's why there are so many unshaven, raggedy, but still kind of hip looking guys and their heavily made up, jeweled female counterparts sipping coffee at Ports. Musicians, hoping to meet one of their gods. Still, everyone's friendly and easygoing. I work all the time now, not sure what else to do. A-, polemic. I fall back into the old armchair Ron helped me buy, swing my legs up and leaf through my returned paper. The only other comments Professor Highcroft has made, if you can call them that, are red check marks. One beside the photocopied image I included of Sylvester Stallone as Rambo for man, and one beside Marilyn Monroe for woman. Not an A, but at least he didn't fail me. Whew. At work, there's a tall, wiry guy who, like me, practically lives at Ports. Excitable and talkative. George helps me clear tables when it gets busy, but he hasn't been in for over a week. Where's George? I asked my boss as we prepped for lunch. Don't know, Terry says, turning muffin batter into tins. Maybe he had another breakdown. What? He's in and out of Burbanton Psych all the time. You didn't know? Terry glances at me. He just got out a few months ago. Terry turns back to the tins and wipes batter from the edges. Before that, he was in for 8 months. I stare at Terry, cutlery half rolled with a napkin in my hands. He's good for a while, he continues, wiping his fingers on his apron, then loses it again. He puts the muffin tray in the oven. Before he went away last time, someone found him on a park bench, bone thin and drenched in his own piss. Terry laughs, not cruelly, more ruefully. I look down to hide my ignorance. I thought George was going to be famous. I've got the cassette he recorded at Temple Studios back home. George's buttery, I think it's an alto, I don't really know how to describe singers' voices, croons original blues numbers as he finger picks and strums an acoustic guitar. It's recorded so close you can hear George's fingers slide on the strings and his breathing in between lyrics, as if you're a tiny person, sitting inside the guitar, then climbing up to his lips to feel his breath, like a gale against your body, a sad, haunting gale. Don't you ever complain about Josh again or I'll evict you, Alice Wu. The note is lying on the floor of my apartment when I come home from work. Written in black magic marker on an 8.5 by 11, ever is darkly underlined and evict large and capitalized. The day before, I'd gone up to the building's roof where Josh, my upstairs neighbor, was sunbathing. I'd asked him if he could turn his radio down. He'd shaded his eyes, looked up at me and deadpanned. I can play my radio however loud I want. But you're not even in your apartment right now, I'd said. He reached over and taking a swig from his beer, stared long and hard at me, then said, okay, before getting up, following me downstairs, going into his apartment and turning the radio off. George reappears at Ports, quiet, subdued, with shaking hands. His massive brown curls has gone completely gray. I dread the upcoming school year. Writing essays is dumb, and I hate failing exams. I hate literature. No, I hate all of higher learning. I'm being conned, brainwashed, and infected. Actually, not only me, but the whole population, with the belief, the feeling, along with the idea that women are second class. Literature, universities, professors, scholars, students, philosophers, writers. Why lionize Milton? Why not laugh at his archaic notions of masculinity and femininity? Why not study him but laugh at the same time? We have no problem laughing at women, especially old ones, and their silly superstitions and outmoded beliefs. Maybe art is where I need to be. Technically, I do have an English degree. I don't need to do an honors. I could take a year off, move. I hate Birmingham. It's too small, but where would I go? Concord is too big, businessy, hard. Westroot, too far. What if I need my parents? Ugh, not something I want to think about. Arbor is close, but Still small, like Birmingham, only bourgeois and stolid on top of it. Release. Why do I always forget release? I've never even been there when it's only 2 hours from home. The foreign Frenchness, I guess. Dardanellites are suspicious of the French. Close to home if needed, yet more foreign than any place in Canada, unless you count the Northwest Territories and the Yukon, which I don't. Exotic, creative. My cousin Joey lives outside Release. I could stay with him until I get settled. I could take art classes and find a real job with my degree, then go to art school or work for a publisher. Oh, I don't speak French. I'll learn. Release. That's it. I'm going to go to Release.